we're the first thing on the show this today was no, I won't. What won't Brandon do, folks? That's for you to find out and think about. Post it in the comments. Post it in the chat. What do you think Brandon won't do?
Keep track of all the things I do, and then you'll know which thing I didn't do.
He said doo-doo. Welcome, folks. This is the kind of show you can expect from us. This is another episode of DrawBomb. A show where two guys who are white just say shit and then draw very slowly for 2 hours. So strap in, because this is the show.
I wasn't expecting my race to come up in that intro, but you know, I think people can tell.
People can see it. I mean, we have the cameras there. There's no facade.
No.
You can hear my computer. Yeah. Have you ever had you use a Cintiq, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever so I should turn it off when I walk away from the computer. I should really hit that button in the back, but I let the computer go to sleep and then I just walk away because the computer's asleep.
Leave mine on all the time.
I do too, yeah.
If my computer's on.
Yeah, like the computer's asleep, my screen is asleep. Like I figure it's fine, but without fail, when I come back to the computer, it does this thing where like the drawing area in the Cintiq is now, and I think it has something to do with the fact that I'm running 2 monitors on 2 different resolutions, because I feel like it's trying to match the other resolution.
Makes shit weird.
Yeah.
I have a lot of issues ever since I got my 3rd monitor, which is a much better resolution than the other 2.
Yeah, I remember I had to help Xenoots in the chat with his monitor because he got people in the chat. Xenoots in the chat. He got a 4K monitor some time ago, and I remember that ruined everything, and I had no idea what we had to like Google shit, and eventually we found out. Like I had to make a fake resolution in NVIDIA control panel, and it was just like a nightmare. But it doesn't appear to have caused any issues anymore, so you know, problem essentially solved. Anyways, when I come back to my computer, the Cintiq like will not like I'll draw in the middle, and if I bring my pen up to like a certain like boundary essentially on all sides, it stops working, and then it'll just like jump to the very top of the screen if I like hit my pen above the screen.
That's annoying.
It is annoying. What I found to do though is I just turn the thing off and on again, and fixes it. I was like very frustrated.
Solves most things.
It usually does, yeah. Most things you can just turn them off and on, and that's why like I love that Grapes of Wrath episode of South Park where the internet goes out and like it's like a big grapes. It's pretty brilliant. And then they have I think Kyle come in to fix the internet, and he just like pulls the plug and then plugs it back in of like this giant modem.
Like, saves the world.
Yeah, that shit made me laugh so hard the first time I saw it. And it just feels more true every day because it is still true. And it
is true.
Yeah. They made a whole TV show based on that joke.
I feel like more and more as time goes on, I could well that's kind of what I was about to say is I could be an IT guy, I think.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I was literally at work the other day, and like I mean this happens all the time. Not to say like me solving it happens all the time, but like I was at work the other day and like
we were having thing, fucking fixing shit left and right.
You know me, a hero of the people.
Hey, you got it. I'll fix that for you. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I didn't.
No,
cut
it's okay.
Yeah,
it's all right. I was at work and we were having a meeting, and they were trying to do like a PowerPoint type thing, and the computer was hooked up, and this thing kept popping up on the screen, and they were like, it's not on the laptop. Why is it showing up on the screen? And it was very clearly like a menu for the TV. And they were like, normally I just didn't feel like saying anything because I'm like, they'll get this. And then it was just like going, and like nobody knew what was going on. I'm just like,
oh my God.
Like they're trying to figure it out. There's like 3 people up there trying to figure it out. The whole like our whole staff is just sitting there like, and then I just like walked up and just like pressed one button and just fixed it and went back down. And it's like, that's probably what an IT person I'm not saying, obviously they're equipped to handle bigger things, but I bet you that's the majority of the stuff they're fixing.
Usually I would say yes. I will say when I worked at the credit union, I would often run into issues, technical and stuff, and I would call the IT department, and they were on some like people in the first floor would be like, oh, you know, because they'd be like, why is my program that I do the numbers on doing this? They'd be like, oh, we just got to do this thing, and they'd be like, thank you so much. Oh my God, here's a muffin. That happened a lot, but
you get muffins in IT.
No, I mean,
it's sounding better and better all the time.
This is on the first floor. We were essentially the receptionists. Essentially, anyways. But they would be like, "Oh my God, you should work in IT. You did so good." And then I would talk to the IT department, and they'd be like, "Hold on, can you open up the CMD and type in xconfig percentage win percent?" And I'd be like, "Oh yeah." And then like they would take over my computer, and I'd see them like entering code and shit. They like changed the directories on like the computer, and I've never done that. Like
that's the I'm saying IT people are mostly capable of all that stuff, but
yeah,
I doubt they have to use it
no, absolutely not. Yeah, those are like special occasions, but like those dudes did not blink. Like they were ready for it. So I mean, I assume it comes up frequently enough that they don't lose that.
Hey, I forwarded ports so that we could play video games once or twice. I am a genius over
You
here.
are the forwarding port guy, like back in the God.
Thank God I don't have to do that anymore.
Oh my God. Does anyone in the chat remember those days where you couldn't like play a game online right away?
Hamachi and shit.
Hamachi forwarding ports, or like I guess you couldn't host you could join games, but like if you were like, let's just start up a little match between the two of us, you have to like go into your router settings, and I don't know what did you do when you forwarded? I've never done it. I think I did it once.
So you don't always have to do it. The game, like ideally you shouldn't have to do it at all, but it's like when there seems to be like some blocks in certain like routers and internet, and I don't know what causes it.
Yeah, I think it's like security settings.
You go into your router and you basically create like you poke holes, like very specific holes. So nothing can get through besides the thing you want to go through. But you have to like basically tell it like, this is the thing that I want to go through.
Yeah.
So when you see this, let it through because you're telling it no.
Right. It's you're basically creating an exception for that game.
Yeah, exactly. That would be the quick way to say it. But
yeah. Sometimes, I like if I'm like saying my story, I could I go on forever, so it's not like I think it's just me talk a lot. What? We used to use it for an old game we like to play that was only configured for LAN. Oh my God, remember LAN? I mean, LAN still exists actually, but
yeah, it still exists.
That used to be the only way.
It's weird that. I've brought this up on the show before, but we used to play a lot of games back in the day. No, I mean, even before I met you, like I used to play a lot of games with my friends over dial-up, and I don't even know.
Cheater.
How can you play like a 3D like game over dial-up? I don't understand how that enough information can travel.
I have to assume they were sending like a single kilobyte of data to ping back and forth things like.
Oh, and then everything else was probably client side.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it was the
Star Wars
like
game we used to play, and there's characters like running around, and you could have like actual like lightsaber battles.
Are you talking about Battlefront?
No, it was called Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2.
Oh yeah, that game was sick.
And I played a shit ton of it. It was probably my most played game.
I remember one time, this is completely barely related, but I remember once it was me, Austin, Kyle, and David, who you haven't talked to as much as Austin and Kyle, but we had we had a TV in the kitchen, and then Austin and Kyle brought like a mini fucking like cube TV, like a bulky, it was like 50 pounds, and then we put it on a pillow. And then we got pillows of our own and like sat on our bellies on the pillows with like the TV propped up in like the study so that we were completely on the opposite side of the house so that like we couldn't cheat or like hear each other like giving like, maneuvers and things like that. And
a LAN party.
And it was a LAN party. We'd get on the same internet and we were like playing Halo.
We used to do that all the time.
Yeah.
We would all bring our TVs and we'd all like just have a room of like 8 people. It was awesome.
It was sick too. Like you couldn't see
for that.
You couldn't see like the other team's screen. It was kind of like playing that Escape Academy game where it was like we could see each other's like half of the screen, and like but
we used to like put up a sheet between the like the TVs or sometimes.
Yeah. Do you remember that like that pic that was going around on the internet where it was like this dungeonous basement, and these guys are having a LAN party, and like one of the people is literally like suspended with duct tape from the ceiling so that he's got like his laptop.
Yes.
I love that picture.
It's a classic photo.
Such a good photo. Yeah. LAN parties, internet. Yeesh. Wow.
Yeesh.
Yeesh. Yee! Wait, hold on. I came prepared.
Real quick. While you're finding that, Leviathan Den says, holy shit, it's the drawing guys. Oh, it's the drawing guys. He wasn't saying it's drawing.
It's the drawing, guys. Versus...
Guys, it's that drawing.
Guys, it's the drawing.
Bella Rock says, Hamachi, fucking nightmare. Agreed.
Oh my god. We hate Hamachi with a passion.
I hate it too, but I think Ian was the one to finally say, like, that's where I draw the line. If a game needs Hamachi anymore, we're just not playing. And I'm like, that's a good stance to take. I'm with you.
I refuse to. I feel like that program is a virus. Like, I feel like when I downloaded it, my computer as a whole got slower, and I don't know why. And I was just like, this shit. And like, I remember uninstalling it and just seeing an immediate improvement. And like, shit, I'd restarted my computer.
I'm gonna shrink this picture frame if you're cool with it.
Absolutely, yeah, it's completely scaled wrong. But go ahead. See if I can.
I hate it here.
Ooh. I pulled a muscle in my cheek. It was looking real wacky.
For making that screech noise?
It was because like I stretched my face. I swear to God, I'm gonna have like Bell's palsy or something like that eventually. Because like if I had like those foot cramps that I was telling you about before we did the show, and then if I like stretch my face in a specific way, it will like seize up the muscle and just stay locked in, and it doesn't like hurt, it just like feels weird, and I'm sure I look like a fucking like nightmare, like one of those dudes who's got like the odd face in the horror movies who's like, don't you go down that there road there. You know what I mean?
Well, there you go, you can warn teens from
their ultimate
doom.
Demise. Yeah.
That can be your new role.
Oh boy.
Once your face falls asleep.
Yeah, I just don't go
down.
No,
you don't want to go down there. Don't go down that road.
Don't go down that road there. Oh man.
I loved how Cabin in the Woods handled that.
I loved how Cabin in the Woods handled that. I not to bring up South Park again.
No, that's okay.
But South Park, the sequel to the Stick of Truth. Did you play that one, or did you?
I haven't played it yet. The Fractured Butthole.
Yeah, the Fractured Butthole. And actually, I didn't know about the joke in the title. I was like, yeah, the Fractured Butthole. And then Austin and Kyle had to be like, the fractured, it's a butthole. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Anyways, they have a DLC, and it's like just this little fun mini story. That
character's from the actual show.
He is, yeah. And he's in the game, and I think he's in both games. But in the DLC, it's like a Friday the 13th Jason sort of situation happening, where like a bunch of kids are at a camp counselors are getting murdered. It's just like a whole Jason thing. But the guy is there, and he's like, don't go down that road there. And you get like I think Jimmy, and then you get like this other kid, I think Clyde, in like a bee outfit or something like that, and he's like a superhero because we're all superheroes. And then at the end of the DLC, not to spoil it, but I don't remember what happens exactly, but they're talking about like the guy's like, my people were enslaved or something like that, and then Clyde's character is like, oh, or Jimmy says like, oh wow, if you think about it, it really offers an alternate side on slavery, and then the guy goes, I wouldn't go down that road there. And I was like, that's a great switch up on the paradigm.
The parody and the character, I don't know the actor's name, but he played Herman Munster in the Munsters. And anyways, he was like that. He's the soothsayer in Pet Sematary.
Pet Sematary, yeah.
He's the one that tells him about it. And he's like, but be careful, they come back different. Soil's gone sour.
In South Park, they're just like straight up like doing. It's like when it's just like basically an exact parody of him or something like that. It's like when they had the lady from Poltergeist in, and it was just her.
I see the things on the other side.
But he was in the episode of South Park where Butter's dad thinks Butters is dead. So he like.
Oh, he's doing all this like going to the.
Thinks he killed Butters or something.
Yeah.
He wants to bring him back or something.
That episode's also great. There's so many
super
good.
dark, but it's so funny.
It's super dark. I remember I was watching that episode with my dad. Like we were.
Is that the episode of It's Butters? That's me.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
the one where he gets thinks
He
he's
like
dead,
follows
or
his
no?
dad around and he's like going to like gay sex clubs and things like that.
Yeah.
I remember like I was sitting down watching TV and dad like comes to sit down and like South Park comes on and I'm like, I'll watch some South Park. And then it's just that episode and my dad and I are watching it. I'm like, this is terrible.
Gotta love some time with my dad.
Because he's just like, there's one scene where it's just like basically hardcore sex happening on the screen.
Gay sex.
And it's like barely I don't think it's even censored. It's just like you can't see the privates.
I think they get away with a lot because the characters look so shitty.
Yeah. And so it's just like hardcore gay sex happening basically on a television at 7 o'clock at night. And I'm like, wow, this is this is very
I have to
terrible.
go to the bathroom, Dad. I have to leave for a second. My phone's ringing.
And then that episode is so what are you gonna say?
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say the episode is so great with like the ending bit where it's like the Butters' parents, and then there's like they're like, and you know, I would look myself in the mirror and I would, and then it would cut to like O.J. Simpson and it'd be like, you did it, you murdered them, how could you? And then like he'd be like, and you know, I just couldn't go throughout the day without thinking, and then they'd go to like the Scott.
I think we're getting a couple episodes mixed up, honestly.
Is that the same episode?
I don't think that's the same one where they kill Butters.
Or they think they kill Butters, like they try to. Because Butters
Is it that
follows.
same one though?
Yeah, Butters follows his dad. He tells his mom about everything that happened. She tries to kill Butters. Butters comes back, but they've already run the whole media story. It's like a very, it's a fucking rapid fire pace.
Butters' very own episode. That's
yeah,
the one.
it's a great episode.
Right.
Terrible to watch with your
It
parents
is a
when you're
great
like 15.
Yeah, all of South Park is.
Pretty much, yeah.
You guys ever have that? I feel like there's some kind of, I don't know what it is, like, you know, okay, so there's a whole like what's the theory with the cat inside the box? Schrodinger's cat.
Schrodinger's cat, yeah.
What is the name of the theory of anytime a sex scene is on TV while you live under the roof of your parents will immediately enter the room and settle in.
That's
30 seconds before it starts. They will walk in and they will sit down with a bowl of popcorn moments before the sex scene starts. It will happen every time.
There should be a name. Is there a name for that? I don't want to look it up right now because I'm trying to draw this drawing faster than it currently is. But I have to feel like somebody has to have come up with a name for that by now. Like, there's no way we've let that slip by.
It's one of those like cultural phenomenons that it isn't just like, I'm not being original. I've already heard other people just mention that that's a very like
absolutely. There's no name for it though. It's just like one of those like, you know, your face when memes or something like that.
Yeah. I don't know what it's called.
I also watched the Reno 911 movie with my parents. That was fine until
the Miami one.
Yeah.
Until the porn
explicit
scene. There's like a straight up like
yeah.
Not just like a movie sex scene. They made it like a porn. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's like there's no like, you know, they're not showing.
You can't see anything,
like,
but they get damn near. It's like as close as the South Park episode got.
It's like softcore porn, basically.
Yeah. And I was like, wow.
Yeah, it's funny.
I thought I was gonna be able to enjoy the Reno 911 movie with, you know, the people I normally watch the show with. I watch a lot of TV with my parents.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm jealous of all the time you get to spend with your parents.
I'm very fortunate, I can say that. I mean, it's sometimes it has its downsides, but you know, overall, I would be an asshole to like be bitching and moaning about it. Like I get to have a nice, you know, I have a good relationship with my parents first of all, which is, or a decent relationship at least, which is, you know, I think, lucky.
Big. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, I get to spend time with them after the pandemic happened and everything. So, you know, I got to sort of keep up with them, make sure they were okay during the pandemic when everything was kind of like, ooh, all the old people might die.
You're like, I know old people and I like them.
Oh my God. Yeah. So, yeah, it's nice that I get to spend the time. not so much when like we watch a movie that's normally like, you know, Reno 911, and there's like a super explicit sex scene. Or, you know, South Park, until there's like a super explicit sex scene. So yeah. What's the worst movie you ever watched with your parents, like to watch with your parents? I've opened up a wound. You gotta spill some blood, buddy.
So fortunately, my mom doesn't really like to watch movies. She's not really into TV. So I didn't have to deal with too much of that situation. I mean, okay, so I would say, so right after my parents got divorced, my mom would take me and my brother to movies a lot of times, just something we could like all do together.
Okay.
But she worked so friggin' much that she would fall asleep every movie.
Oh.
And we were too young for it.
Oh,
well, she didn't care. I mean, she didn't care. I mean, she eventually started just like taking us to the movies and like sleeping. And I guess it wasn't like a spend time together. It was like just something that we enjoyed, and she was just like, you know, doing something for us that we'd have fun doing. But it started off, she used to go to the theater with us all the time, and she'd sleep, and then she basically got to the idea of like, okay, I'll just wait in the car or go home, and then I'll come pick you up after. But anyways, when she would go to it with us, we'd see movies that she didn't, like I said, she doesn't watch TV. She doesn't know anything about that kind of stuff. So like we name a movie, that means nothing to her. She doesn't know, she hasn't heard about reviews. She doesn't know what kind of movie it is. So she'd take us to stuff that we shouldn't be able to see.
Mom, like, can you take us to There Will Be Blood?
We were like, we want to see Old School. And she's like, okay. And she took us, and she was in the theater, but she was out before the previews ended.
Hilarious.
And the movie's happening, and there's like so many scenes where I'm just like looking over at my mom, like making sure she's still unconscious, because I'm like, this is an uncomfortable movie to see with your mom.
Yeah.
She was fast asleep. Yeah. And then I remember that was the funny one, because she went to work the next day, and they were like, oh, what'd you do last night? She's like, oh, I went to the movies with my boys. And they're like, what'd you see? And she's like, Old School. And they're like, what? She's like, why? Why what? And then they told her everything, and she's like, she came back the next day like,
Narcs.
What kind of movies are you guys going to? You're like, you paid for the tickets. You took us in. We're under 18, and you got us in.
Yeah.
You're more guilty than we are, Mom.
Absolutely.
I don't know. It's funny now. She wasn't even that mad about it then. My parents were pretty good about letting us watch stuff because they knew us and they knew that we could handle it, I think.
I think that's important. Like our parents would let us play like M-rated video games, because sometimes I think because they just didn't feel threatened by them. I don't know.
Sure.
But maybe they just wanted us out of their hair, or maybe they thought that we were mature enough to handle them. But you know, they gave us that sort of room, and I mean, I think they would at least vet the stuff. They'd be like, okay, well, this game seems like a little bit ridiculous. Sometimes, like for instance, like we were not allowed to watch, or I wasn't allowed to watch Pulp Fiction for some time, and then I had to like I was doing like a hangout with my buddies, and they were like, yo, we're gonna watch Pulp Fiction tonight. And I was like, yeah, finally, I've been trying to see it. I heard it's a great movie, and you know, my parents wouldn't let me see it. And then I fell asleep like by the first hour. No. Yeah, it was just like we were watching it like at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was like 12. So like I just know, you know, I was usually in bed by 8.
About movies and stuff for a while, like when we were young, but like when we were like pre-teens, like it was just like, all right, do your thing.
Once I got a job, and they were like, you make money, go pay for whatever the fuck you want, you know.
Well, sure, definitely then, but I mean, I didn't have a job when I was like 13, 14, but I'd say around like the 12 to 14 range, especially because I had an older brother, and also my brother is 2 years older, and my cousin was 4 years older, and he lived next door, so he's like another brother basically, and they would just like all the stuff that they did, I would all get to experience. So you know, it's like my dad's like, you can't watch South Park, and I just walk next door to my cousin's house, and he'd be like, yeah, let's watch it.
Yeah, we weren't allowed to watch South Park either for quite a while, and we would just have our buddy, like we would walk down to the bus stop like every day for school, and we had a friend who was allowed to watch South Park, and he would just give us like the recap. So we would just
have my
kind of
answer
get
now.
like secondhand information from him. Was that
now.
secondhand information from him? Was that?
I have my answer now. To your question about worst thing you watched with your parents. Now we're going back to South Park. You
Oh, boy.
watched the one with you watched the one with Butters, which is not a great one to watch with your parents. I watched the one where I forget what it is, but Miss Chokes on Dick and Mr. Mackey have sex with each other.
I knew you were
My
going to
dad
say
was
that somehow.
in
I
the
could
room
tell
for
by the
that,
lead
and
up.
it's like, and my dad's just like, no, you're not watching this anymore. And I'm like, yeah, probably good
That's
call.
fair. Honestly,
Like,
I might be
don't
done
even
watching it.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you.
I don't think I even want to watch it. I think I'm good. Yeah, that shit. They really. I'm surprised by some of the shit that they ever allowed to do on that show so early on. It seems kind of like, I don't know if it's extreme compared to what other shows were allowed to do, but it feels like it. It feels like it's extreme even compared to like today. I mean, sure we're sort of a lot more culturally sensitive about a lot of things, so a lot of the jokes just don't sort of haven't aged because of just the change in like how we handle social things, sort of, for the most part. But you know, other things that are happening in that show I still feel like are wild especially for like the year that they were like, for instance, the shit episode. Like, how did they get away with that? Like, they were like, I mean, I'm sure there's like a whole story behind it about like how they got away with being allowed to say the word shit like 100 times on a television show in 2003 or some shit like that. But I mean, you can say shit, I think, a lot more on TV now. Like, It's Always Sunny says shit.
Oh yeah, now it's allowed.
I don't know if you're allowed to say fuck on I don't feel like it. Maybe once you get past like a certain like time.
I think like after like 2 a.m. on certain channels when it's like expressly like stated that it's going to be like an unrated something. I've seen it happen on like Comedy Central late at night.
Yeah. But they say like shit on It's Always. I don't think they censor the word shit.
No, they can say shit. You can say bitch. You can say ass.
Yeah. You can say pretty much everything but fucking see you next Tuesday. Cunt.
Yeah.
But I was like, is Twitch gonna block us if we say cunt on stream? YouTube might.
We don't say it much, so I don't think it's that great of a fear.
No, I'm not worried at all. I mean, we're never going to be monetized, I think, on DrawBomb Live. We swear, like, if they're as strict about swearing as people are saying, we're never going to hit monetization on the DrawBomb Live channel.
Yeah, I mean, if we get enough traction, I'm willing to clean it up a little if it means I get paid.
We'll just add dolphin noises anytime we're about to. I've been doing Katamari.
I don't think it's a real thing. I watch like big streamers who swear like every sentence.
Oh yeah, it's definitely it's not balanced that the way that
the rules change once you're very successful. I think.
Yeah, they definitely apply the rules disproportionately. Like the rules are applied disproportionately. Like if you're a Markiplier, you get away, I'm sure, with a lot more than, you know, if you're, you know, somebody
more money
else.
You bring in, the more they let you do. Probably.
Yeah. But a lot of smaller streamers are like I follow this one guy and he makes these I showed you a couple of his documentaries, and like he talks about like cryptocurrency scams that have been going on and things like that. But he's been like, his main channel has changed focus to like being documentaries about like just wild shit, and they seem like, I take them with a grain of salt, but they seem pretty well sourced and like verifiable and things like that. But
real quick, should these bombs all be yellow or should they just be whatever?
I think the Homer Simpson bomb can be purple, and then we just make the rest yellow or shades of yellow, like maybe like a spectrum of like yellow to greenish yellow and orange.
I'm gonna make them.
How do you feel about that?
Make them all yellowish.
All right. Like this like Lego color right here, Lego yellow.
Sure.
All right. I bet you there's a Pantone color called Lego yellow. I feel like somebody
who
has
the color first, Lego or Simpsons? Lego has been around longer, right?
I think so, yeah. It's got to be around since before the 89.
So all those analog like toys that have no batteries are like all like super old.
Yeah. But anyways, that person who makes documentaries and stuff, they've just been like censoring the hell out of their videos, and like if you read their comments, like they comment like on their video and pin it and say like, hey, this video got demonetized. I don't know what I gotta keep on taking words out till YouTube stops demonetizing. I think it's the part where I talked about the dolphins killing themselves, but I got these guys keep demonetizing me. He doesn't sound like that at all, by the way. But
what happened to Bart?
I drew over his line layer. I'm trying to undo it, but since DrawPile is like trying to parse my undos from your undos, sometimes it takes a little while. There we go. But anyways, he just keeps getting demonetized for like just like talking about, like he had like a video about when Kim Jong-un had his brother assassinated. He like did a documentary about like the people who carried out, it's actually a very tragic story, like these two women who essentially got tricked into like thinking they're doing a prank show and, you know, killing him and then being on trial for 2 years.
Holy crap, that's how he did it?
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
It's like a 40-minute documentary or something like that, and it's very well done. Like
they thought they were pranking Kim Jong-un's brother.
They thought they were pranking just a dude. Like they were like did like test runs of the show sort of for like weeks beforehand, where the producers would point out people in a crowd and they'd be like, okay, you're gonna like touch them on the back of the neck and be like, haha.
This was happening in South Korea.
This was happening in like the women were from like, I want to say Thailand or like Indonesia, like some place where like the quality of life is a little bit tougher, especially if you grow up poor and a woman. But like, you know, they sort of like got these jobs, and then like someone was like, hey, you could be an actress, you should be in this, I'm gonna hook you up with my producer. And they're like, oh my gosh. And then they like, you know, did this show where they would do pranks and like, you know, touch people in the back of the neck and like run away, ha ha ha, and the people, you know, and they were supposedly, that was the pranks of the show. And then they were told to like put a little bit of like Vaseline on their hands and just like wipe it a little bit on Kim Jong-un's face, or Kim Jong-un's brother's face. And they didn't know that it was poison, and they actually got very lucky they didn't touch their faces before they washed the stuff off in the bathroom. Probably because they didn't want to get like this weird Vaseline shit on their face, but it's like a weird chemical. It's a whole thing, man.
Absolutely wild.
And like then they were on trial for 2 years, and the one woman got like exonerated. They both got off, by the way, just to give this. They both finally got they're free and they're safe apparently. But they were on trial for like, the one woman was on trial for like a year, and like the other one was on trial for like an extra year, because the first government, like, because they were sent to their respective countries' governments and put on trial for, you know, political assassination.
What an absolutely strange way to assassinate someone.
It's wild, it's brilliant, it's terrifying. Like if you actually, like, the chemical that they use is terrifying sounding. Like, why did somebody invent this chemical?
It sounds kind of like the thing that, like, every time you hear of like KGB agents like taking somebody out, it's like, what do they call it? It's like some kind of like nerve poison.
Yeah, like
stuff that just makes somebody basically like, you basically just walk up to them and like expose them to it really quickly, and they just die. Like,
yeah, basically. It's like, and it's always got a name that's like X37 or some shit like that. Like it sounds like a fucking you know, unnamed superhero prototype or some shit like that. Or like a ship, I don't know. But it's terrifying. Why would you do that? Why would you make those things? But it's a wild story. I did just basically like recite the whole video, so I should just say the channel. But
I'm gonna watch the video. After.
Yeah, it's on Kira TV. Yeah. He does really good stuff. I've tried to fact check some of his documentaries to see if he seems like he's legit, you know. But I just don't trust anybody on YouTube to you know, just because I just don't think that's a good idea to do that.
Sure.
Just at least not 100%, you know, like I'm gonna like put a certain amount of faith in them if they've proven themselves to be credible. Like I feel like Kira has, I think, over time. I respect his like sort of thinking and things like that, but I just don't think it's a good idea to just wholesale trust really anybody, but especially people on YouTube.
Fair.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's a great. You should definitely check out that documentary. It's fucking wild. It's nuts. I'm sure he's had to censor it to hell. I think he had to re-upload it so that it got re-demonetized. I don't know, but if it's still on his channel, it probably is. Check it out. It's fascinating and kind of heartbreaking. But thankfully those women did eventually get exonerated by their governments. So not a happy ending because someone did die. But, at least the people who got tricked into doing it weren't punished.
I mean,
to an extent.
Not to make you just explain this whole thing to me as we're sitting here, but was this Kim Jong-un's brother? Is he still associated with the family?
He was essentially he was a child of either a mistress or a first wife, and then Kim Jong-il got remarried, or he got married to, or he was married, or something along those lines. And so
if he was still part of the family, I guess I wouldn't care that much if he got assassinated. They all suck.
But he actually, I can't speak for certain, and I don't remember much, but the documentary made him seem like he was actually a pretty chill dude. He just kind of liked to travel, and he was a cool guy. I think he was actually working to give documents about North Korea to the CIA.
That's why he got killed.
Yeah, that's why they did. But he was actually, there was constant assassination attempts on him before that, but this was sort of a linchpin sort of situation. You had to get it done. I don't think I'm using that word right, actually.
Real quick in the chat. First off, Xenute says, "I made a new chemical, guys. It's called Poisonic X. Looks like Poisonic.
It sounds like it's
why are you not breathing?
It sounds like it infects your mind. It's like the woke mind virus,
Yeah, that's really been spreading a lot these days, as far as I'm concerned.
Elon's really concerned about that woke mind virus. Twitter's such a joke. Also, it's funny. Sorry, go ahead.
Bubble Rocket said, "I posted my stupid dog in Draw Along. I'm looking at it now."
Oh,
great.
We should let's do that. Let's put up
what is
let's
this
put
dog's
it up
name?
on the screen.
I need to know. Do you know, Ian? Do you know her dog's name?
I know this dog. I don't know her dog's name. I do recognize this dog though.
Yeah! 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 I need to know a name to go along with the face of this dog.
I'm gonna call him Spracky.
Yeah, it might be Spracky. Little Sprocky.
Spracky. I don't know. Let me try and get this fixed so it's a little wacky. It's a little wacky.
Leviathan Den says, "You can trust your subscribers. We have trustworthy faces." Xenute says, "I lie all the time." Leviathan says, "Me too." So there you go.
Well, at least they were honest about it.
They're honest about being liars.
Yeah. It's actually it's like one of those things that would make a robot in Star Trek's head blow up. Because if he's telling the truth about him lying all the time, then he's being honest. But if he's being honest and saying he lies all the time...
He actually commented on that exact thing. He said, after he said, "Me too," he said, "And that's the lie." So,
yeah.
There you go. There it is. There's Spracky right on the screen.
Spracky's right there, guys. Oh, I can zoom in. There's Spracky.
Spracking about. Going, sprack, sprack.
Sprack, sprack. Yeah, I also imagine that exact noise in my head.
The dog is actively screaming.
Yeah, no, I actually picture this dog going, "Oh, oh," you know what I mean?
I bet you it's way more high pitched than that.
Oh, yeah.
It's looks like some kind of Pomeranian or something, so it's probably like squeaky.
Little squeaky dog.
Could be wrong.
Trying to get this thing properly sized. It was a little bit of a white border at the bottom, and I didn't want to. It was gonna drive me crazy. Oh. Oh. Okay, I'm done. I'm gonna stop doing that.
That's why we'll get demonetized.
That is why we will get demonetized. Did I? Why are there? There we go.
Bilbo Rocket says, "I think it's a palm. I found his pic on Instagram searching dogs." Okay, so this is not
Not
Velvet
your
Rocket's
dog.
actual dog.
I didn't think she had a dog, but you know, I haven't been to their house in
You
over a
recognize
year.
that dog.
I would have. I feel like I would have recognized that dog, but
You said you did.
I mean, they did have actually this big ass dog, Merlin, and he was pretty fun.
That's a great name for a dog, for a big dog.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And he was like brown and had big curly hair. It was pretty cool. He's like a giant poodle that you could ride like a horse.
Whoa.
He looked like a mixture between a horse and a poodle, and like the size was like right in the middle.
Is he like a golden doodle or something?
Izzy, you'll have to. Izzy says she hated Merlin. Merlin was kind of annoying. I'm not gonna lie, but like, you know, I respect animals and they're just doing their best. But or in general, they're doing their best. Sometimes I'm like, you motherfucker.
Some of them are not doing their best.
No, some of them are not. And they know it. They're making a conscious decision.
They know what they've done.
Oh yeah. They ate that pizza extra fast because you were walking towards them. He was a standard poodle and very smart, so he was a big fat bully. Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
I do remember.
Standard poodles are, from what I've experienced, they're kind of jerks, but they're also very smart.
It's very interesting to me that like dog breeds do have distinct person. Like you would think that
they do.
You know, it's interesting. You'd think that like the upbringing would have such a more drastic effect on it, but like I read about people talking.
I think it does. I think
yeah,
that's
for
the
sure.
Primary thing, but they're prone to certain attitudes
tendencies.
And behaviors.
Yeah, like, you know, a dog is not going to be like a monster like attacking people and stuff unless you train it that way and like raise it that way. But you know, it's interesting that they'll still be like, oh yeah, in general these dogs will be just like ornery. They're just big old ornery dogs.
There's certain dogs that require more training because they're more likely to turn into a monster if you know, if you train them wrong, versus other dogs where you can train them totally terrible and there's still no threat, you know.
Yeah. I think
overall.
Yeah, for sure. And I think a lot of that has to do with I think like it's probably like just their chemical makeup and stuff is probably just like different.
Some are bred to be more aggressive, you know, because they're protectors and things of that nature.
They are freaks of dogs. Look, we can't dance around the fact that dogs are inherently not quote unquote God's design. You know what I mean? Like they used to be they're our design. They used to be wolves, and then we fucked them up
if
on
you
purpose.
look at a dog, a house dog, okay, let's put it this way. Both a pug, a Great Dane, and a wolf are all the exact same Latin species. Yeah. Like, that's how close they are. They're the same. They're just bred for thousands of years in very different directions.
Jesus.
You know, you look at two different birds that are similar but different, and they have like different species names. But you look at but those three dogs are all the same.
That's wild.
It's wild. It's weird. It makes me feel, well, not me personally because I had no hand in it, but like it feels wrong. Like we were just dog sitting for these two bulldogs recently, and they're just like they can barely breathe. If they get too excited, you have to like calm them down because they can like
explode their hearts.
Like they can't. They can't. Well, yeah. I mean, they can't breathe fast enough to like keep up with because their faces are all mashed, so they can't really get air in.
Which is like my worst nightmare. Like, not being able to breathe.
Like, imagine being bred to like be like always have a cold.
There's like this.
It feels wrong.
Yeah, there's like this XKCD comic that's like a graph timeline of like it was like times that like the one line was how much I want to think about my breathing and then how much I do think about my breathing, and generally like how much I want to think about it is like 0. It's like a flat line at 0. And the how much do I think about breathing is like it's like, or how much do I think about my breathing is like a wiggly line that kind of goes up like in the winter months, and then like all of a sudden it hits 2020 and then it just fucking shoots up. But it's a good comic. XKCD is great, but yeah.
Go ahead.
No, that's it. I was just trying to put a nice, satisfying button on my anecdote. But let's, if you want to talk more, I'm down to hear it.
No, I guess I was, finishing up the thing about dogs. it's basically like, you know, cut to 3,000 years from now, if aliens visit and take over and we're their pets, they're going to like be like, oh, the one that was born with like that person was born like without a nose and it was cute, so let's just breed those together so that the future of people are just like don't have a nose, and this one's like, I'm miserable.
Yeah, I thought of like a bunch of different hypothetical scenarios for how an alien would like crossbreed us to like make us into dogs of humans. And they're all offensive, so I can't say.
Don't want to go down that road.
Don't want to go down that road there.
I know. That's why I went with just not having a nose. I figured that.
Yeah, that was you made the safest choice on that one. Bravo, you handled that with grace and aplomb, I gotta say.
Call me fucking William Tell, because I just shot that apple straight off.
Pew! Our media,
and I did not get canceled.
Our media training is really paying off, I gotta say.
Yeah. Thank God. I was wrong when I said it wasn't worth it, you know.
If DrawBomb ever, like, in the impossible scenario that DrawBomb Live ever became like successful, would you take media training?
I don't know. I wouldn't be against it. I feel like we're pretty savvy. I don't know. Like, what is it? It just teaches you what not to say.
I think it's like it teaches you like you know how when you see a celebrity go like do an interview and they're a robot and they feel like they have no soul until they go on like Hot Ones and like eat the bomb or something like that.
Sure.
That's what media training is like it teaches you how to be that robot, I think.
Like how to play it safe.
How to be just completely inoffensive and charming and you're right, Carson Daly.
Well, then no, I don't think I would unless I for some reason kept fucking up and was still given chances. Then I might be like, okay, help.
Man, this is my third time getting canceled this month.
My cancellation hasn't stuck, but I'm willing to learn so it doesn't happen again.
I just can't win.
Bell Rocket says, today Ian introduced you as two white guys, and then he said cunt 3 times. And she's not wrong.
Those are accurate. That's an accurate recounting of the events that unfolded.
I wonder what media training would have to say about that.
I think I would dip my toe. I think I would take like 2 classes and see if I liked it, because like maybe it would teach me how not to like talk like a complete idiot, you know, like kind of sound more eloquent. I wouldn't mind that.
I think I'm decent at knowing what not to say, but the thing is, we feel safe on the show because no one's watching.
Yeah. Well, I think it's been obvious that it happens. Like, I know what not to say, but when it starts to get into like touchy subjects, I do tend to get a bit tongue-tied. And like nervous. It's happened a couple. Like I remember I was just streaming Doom like a couple weeks ago, and I remember I was talking about something, I forget what, but I was like, oh, this is dicey territory. I gotta watch what I fucking say about this shit, even though like I don't feel like my opinion on it is controversial or like mean, or like my general opinion on things is just like, you know, hey, let's all let each other fucking live. And you know, we say don't yuck yums on this show all the time, and I think I truly apply that, I think, to life.
As you should.
You know, unless it hurts somebody. Like, you know, don't yuck yums unless it hurts somebody or something like that. But, you know, so I was talking about that like whatever subject it was on the stream, and then I just started to be like, oh boy, you know, sometimes, and I wasn't trying to say anything crazy, but I just like, I get nervous talking about subjects that,
I think intent is through line in most people. Some people want to be mad, but the average person sees your intent. So if you're actually trying, most people pick up on that, and you're gonna be okay. Yeah. So, I mean, the as long as you're not Papa John dropping N-bombs in meetings, you're probably with your like, you know, you're bored. You're probably gonna be, you're trying to be a good person.
Yeah, if you're trying to be a good person, if you're trying to just be a good person and be nice to people, most people are not gonna like take issue with you. They might correct you on a misbehavior or a faux pas and be like, hey, just want to let you know, this, that. But for the most, like, unless they're unreasonable, like or having a really bad day and they're just like having a bad way of taking it out on people. People are going to be understanding, and you know, for the most part. Like, again, there's crazy people out there too. So.
Z-Nude says the only N-bomb I want to drop is niceness. There you go. I like that.
I like that. That's good. That's solid. Let's put the first DrawBomb shirt.
No thanks.
No.
I don't want to associate that at all.
Absolutely.
Why,
that would be an awful business decision.
Why willingly associate yourself with that? Like, to then not like if you're the only reason somebody should even. They shouldn't, but the only reason somebody would even bring that up is if like they were caught saying it or something. But like, why bring it up for no reason? It would
just be a giant picture of Papa John.
Donald Trump. I hate to bring him up, but he's been doing this. He's been doing this thing lately in like his rallies, and I've seen a few different clips. So he's saying it multiple times. It's like a line he's using now, but he keeps going. I want to talk about the N-word. Not that N-word, the other N-word.
Oh, God.
Nuclear. And it's like, why are you doing this?
That's ridiculous.
Like, what is the point? Why would you even associate? Why?
Doug,
maybe it's like a dog whistle or something. But
it's 100% a dog whistle, yeah. But I mean, you know.
But it's like, why even? You're not talking. He's not even talking about anything. He just brings it up to like, because it's like a funny joke to him or something.
I do hate black people, but let's talk about how I'm gonna keep you on oil.
We don't have to go down that road.
No, it's gonna go down that road now.
I'm like, why bring that up?
Yeah.
Then make some stupid joke that's nothing. You idiot.
Because he's a monster.
You dumb idiot.
He's a fucking cretin. Anyways, moving on from piles of garbage. Have you played? Are we gonna finish this drawing before? We might. I mean, it's still taking an hour, but we're getting there. I think.
I think we'll be done in the next 5 minutes.
This is a pretty wild and wacky drawing with a lot of detail. Like this I feel like would take us normally more.
I think we have a guide that we're following that speeds it up. That
does help it have reference.
And we're also not doing any kind of like mostly no shading stuff. Like that.
True. Cursed Pete Davidson ad. Oh no, what Pete? First of all, hi Shiny Dog. I don't know if Shiny Doggy can hear us yet. Shiny Doggy, let us know when the Pete Davidson ad is over.
Oh yeah.
I'm curious what.
Oh, it's a Taco Bell Pete Davidson ad. I've been seeing it around. I said Pizza Davidson at first.
Pizza Davidson.
It's a Taco Bell, and I saw it a couple times.
I'm a
today.
pizza. Whoa. Sorry, what were you saying?
It's a Taco Bell ad. I think because when Twitch runs an ad, they run it on every.
Yeah.
If you open 3 windows, you're getting the same ad on all 3.
They get like one ad every day, and that's it. That's all you're gonna see.
Shiny Doggy, how's it going? I saw you were streaming earlier. How'd that go?
Oh yeah. I didn't have a chance to pop in, but I saw it when I woke up. that
I turned it on, and then my mom called, and when my mom calls, I'm on the phone for like an hour. So
oof. Yeah.
It's all right. We love our moms here on DrawBomb.
We love our moms on DrawBomb.
DrawBomb
loves moms.
That's right.
That's our first t-shirt. Well, you guys, isn't it crazy how I'm like a pizza? That's my Pete Davidson.
That is, all jokes aside, that is totally an ad they would do. Like right now they're like in the 2000s this started this trend of like, oh, weird is funny, it gets people's attention, which is true if you're the only ones doing it, but since then everyone's just does that and nothing else, so every commercial is absurd.
Yeah.
And so they all blend together into just like nonsense, stupid.
It's a mishmash.
Ads.
I will say there's this one, like, first of all, I don't like to say I like ads in general. Like when I watch the TV with my parents that I mentioned earlier in the show.
It feels like you've been fooled. Like you're a dumb. Oh no, I'm a consumer.
Yeah, and in general, like when we're watching the TV shows, like when the commercials come on, like my dad will comment on like every commercial and have something to say about them. And I have like focused during the commercials so hard on my game because I like explicitly want to not pay attention to the ads because they just, or first of all, they go on for like 7 minutes, but I just hate them so much. They're awful. But
your dad's like a guy sitting in movie theater previews who's like, I don't know about that one.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not going to buy their products.
That's pretty wacky what they're putting up on there. But yeah, every ad is absurdist. But like when I do like an ad, there's this one that's like, I don't know, I think it's like for taxes or some shit. I don't even know what they're selling, but like they're think selling
taxes.
That's why I like the ad, is because I actually don't know what the fuck they're selling. And it's like these weird visuals that are very like kind of done up and like Wes Anderson-y, but like not symmetrical, you know, but just kind of like that same sort of sensibility, you know what I mean? I don't know how to like that, almost like that like vintage feel, sort of
stylized.
Yeah. And it's got like this nice little song that's very trippy going on, and I'm like, you know what, I can't complain about this commercial. Like I don't want to watch it like 80 times, but like I watched it for 30 seconds. It was visually interesting. I liked the song. And I don't know what they were selling. Overall 10 out of 10 ad. I can't complain.
It's funny that ads have gotten so absurd that you often they end and you're like, I don't even know. I'm sure if I paid attention I would know, but I don't even know what that was selling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like they're not trying to like lock it in to like the back of your brain like they used to. Now it's just like some weird shit goes down with like a celebrity, and then it's like, what the fuck is that about?
I think the plan is,
why was Pete Davidson dressed up like a pizza?
Whoa, dude, I'm a pizza. Isn't this crazy? It's but like I think with the strat, it's like those bars that don't have the sign, you know, and you're like, you have to like have a friend tell you where to get in. I think it's like that. It's like, what the fuck did I just watch? I gotta Google this website. I gotta Google what the hell a Bing is. And then you end up on their site, and
I prefer it that way because there's one more like line to cross to be a sucker.
Yeah.
So
I do it, yeah.
It's like I can stop myself before that part, but sometimes, you know, a commercial will trick you into enjoying it.
If the commercial is like I think I like it because it's almost like if the commercial treats itself like a miniature work of art, and I don't have to like in my mind associate it with product, I'll have
totally.
But then also you still have to watch it 80 times, so it does eventually lose that like little bit of respect you've given it in the end. Shiny Doggy says it's crazy that media is just a product to sell more products, and it's true. It's very like,
yeah, I mean the only reason like TV exists is to basically sell ads.
Yeah. If DrawBomb ever be like live ever pops up, if I like look into Stream Elements and get us some sponsors, like we'll just become another reason, like another stream with where the purpose is to shill products and get you guys to buy shit so that we can eke out an existence.
But on the bright side, you know, then we can make
jet skis,
things
baby.
We enjoy. Yeah, you get jet skis. That's the bright side. But no, I mean, we can put more energy into the things we and you guys enjoy if someone's paying us.
Speaking of which, two things to celebrate. Number one, we finished this drawing, and two, we hit 500 subs on YouTube. Like 3 hours ago, some shit like that. Yay!
Hell yeah!
Ooh.
That's $1,000.
It's $1,000, baby. So I'm pretty happy about that. It was a struggle to get there. That last 400, like 300, I feel like we just breezed through, and then 400 was a real doozy.
That's what happens, man. I mean, like Instagram, I barely use it anymore for like. I used to use it. I got a lot of work from it. Over the back in the day, and I hardly ever use it anymore because as soon as I hit like 1,000 followers, now I'll post stuff and like it gets no engagement. Like,
interesting.
Like I posted a drawing today that got like, it used to be like I'd put a drawing up and like within the first hour it would get like, 20 to 30 likes and then slow down, and then by the end it'd be at like around 100 or something, and then I hit about 1,000 and now I got like 1 or 2 likes today on it. Like, and I have followers. They don't see it. That it doesn't go out to your own people.
It doesn't get pushed out. Yeah.
It's pay to play over there now.
Yeah, it really is. And I see a lot of people complaining about that, and it's like, yep.
Oh well.
Yeah. But yeah, we hit 500 subs on YouTube, which is pretty cool. I'm pretty thrilled about that. But Brandon, have you ever considered for engagement drawing some big-titted anime girls? I feel like that pops off.
It does. That would work. I haven't done that. I haven't reached that level yet.
That's a shame. You should try that sometime.
I feel like that the moment you see me doing big titty anime girls or like furry stuff, it's probably because I owe money to somebody who's gonna hurt me or something like that.
That's fair.
And I'm like, all right, it's time. I gotta do it. I need this money now.
Not to yuck yums for anybody who does that stuff, by the way.
Sure. No, go. Yeah, but it's just not
make your bag. Yeah, I
Shiny
feel
Doggy
like...
says, do you want that audience though?
No, absolutely not. God, no.
Not that. Yeah, it's true. I don't.
Especially not the ones that talk. Like maybe the silent audience who just sort of like give me the ad revenue or whatever. Sure, I wouldn't mind them, but like the ones who like
just
comment,
jacking it in the shadows.
Exactly. The ghost jerkers.
I just want to jerk and lurk, you know? I don't
jerk and
want
lurkers.
somebody comment. I don't want somebody comment.
Oh man, we're done with this. We're done with this drawing, right? we should go on break. Done. I think we need to.
It's time. We need to step away.
We need to step away.
This is the momentum on this.
Figure out what the hell is going on. We need to recalibrate the GPS is going.
I'm gonna
like,
take
recalculating.
I'm gonna take some classes that teach me what not to talk about.
Yeah, we're gonna hit a quick 5 minutes of media training, and we'll be right back, folks. All right. All right. Hey there, ho there, folks. We're back. Looney Tunes back in action, baby. I'm gonna draw Pizza Davidson right now until I think of something better to draw.
Yeah, there we go. That's a great idea. Brandon,
can you rate my Pete Davidson impression?
Am I allowed to hear it one more time?
Sure, yeah. And I've never done a Pete Davidson impression before this episode, so this is not, I'm not like one of those dudes who practiced it and I'm like, oh, okay with the show. Oh wow, I'm a pizza, you guys. Wow.
Okay, so if it were just Pete Davidson, I would say maybe like a 6 out of 10.
I'll take it.
Pete Davidson as a pizza, definitely you've pulled at least a 7.5.
I'll take it. Isn't it crazy how I'm like a pizza? Anyways, yeah. That's all I'm going to do with that.
He's making a show now, which I'm interested to see because I feel like I get little inklings that, and he's on, you know, he was on SNL a lot, but I get little inklings like that he's actually funny and stuff, but I haven't really seen him do anything that I really like yet. But I feel like he's able to. I just feel like it hasn't existed for me.
I think Pete David. Yeah, no, I think I understand what you're saying. I think Pete Davidson.
He's making a show now, and I feel like this is like, okay, now I'll actually get to see like. Here's him just making something for him. It's not like for SNL. It's not for whatever this or that.
His voice. You get like something that's.
Because I don't really know what his comedy even is. I haven't watched his stand up. I guess that would be the answer: is watch his stand up.
Watch his like weekend update bits he did on SNL. Those were pretty great. I remember I watched one. Like my introduction to Pete Davidson was this was before like you couldn't escape like Pete Davidson. But he was doing weekend update and he was talking about like his experiences being in rehab and like relating to this like horse that they were taking care of like at the rehab center or something like that, and being like, hey, we're both kind of stuck here. It's just a very like I'm like, you know, I'm not gonna make it funny telling it like this, but you know, it's very entertaining and it feels very honest, and I enjoyed it as a. It didn't feel like he was doing like, it was kind of like he was essentially doing a stand-up bit, but you know, he was just kind of at the desk, you know, but it was good. And I really enjoyed, I thought that was really funny, and I enjoyed his voice when I saw that. So I was like, oh, I wouldn't mind seeing more of Pete Davidson. And then, you know, I couldn't escape him like for a while.
Yeah, now you don't have a choice because he's everywhere.
Yeah.
I've never in his defense, I haven't really watched much SNL over the last few years when he was like prominent on it.
Right.
But I haven't really seen much of his stuff that I have enjoyed yet.
Fair.
But I think he's capable of it. I just don't think I've seen it. Is what I'm trying to say. Trying to give him all the benefits of the doubt here.
Sure. He hasn't been in anything enjoyable recently, for sure. I would argue.
I didn't really like a lot of what I saw him do on SNL, but I also didn't see that much of him.
Here's the thing. On SNL, I didn't like him as like an actor in sketches because he was just being Pete Davidson, and like his whole thing was like he was just laughing the whole time and being like, dude, isn't it crazy? I want like a sketch. But when he was doing the weekend,
pulling a Fallon.
yeah, he was very Fallon-esque in the sketches, but like, whereas Fallon was like everyone hated Fallon for it. I guess everyone loved Pete Davidson for doing the exact. I don't know.
I didn't hate Fallon for it. I thought it was funny when he broke.
But
it was every sketch.
When it was every sketch, I was like kind of like Fallon. Come on, man.
Like, you're on SNL. Like,
you're a pro.
This is the job.
Yeah, this is the job. Is you're supposed to.
I like Jimmy Fallon. I think he's funny, but I don't like his show at all.
I hate his show.
I hate it, and it bugs. It makes me upset that it exists and people like it.
Yeah,
and we say don't yuck yums, but that's one example where I just like. I want to yuck those yums. I'm like, why?
Yeah, his show has never been appealing to me. I can't say like I ever had like feelings about Jimmy Fallon one way or the other. Like especially when he was on SNL, like I think I was just too young to like consciously like
I thought
remember.
He was funny then. I don't know if that would hold up, but at the time I thought he was funny on SNL.
I remember I was watching an SNL sketch with him in it with was just like, God, he's always laughing. And I was like,
a common thing that, I mean, Family Guy made fun of it. It was like a common like thing to poke fun at.
Yeah. And like, here's the thing. I think there's definitely room for breaking where it's like funny. It's good, but you know, everything in moderation. Everything in moderation.
I was gonna say, the breaking's usually funny for people who don't normally break. So it's like, okay, this is so funny that even like these people that are like the absolute best in the industry they can't contain themselves, and that was always like very enjoyable seeing these people having fun. But no, if you laugh every sketch, then it's just like, stop.
Yeah, we're trying to do a show here. Like Colin Mockery on Whose Line Is It Anyway? Like he never breaks, ever. So if he does, like when he does, it's like a legendary moment. And as like a fucking nerd saying that, but you know, but
oh, bro, it was legendary.
Dude, it was legendary when fucking Ryan Stiles hit his head against the Drew Carey's desk lamp when he was doing Margaret Cho, and he fucking broke the lamp, dude, and Colin couldn't stop laughing. I fucking busted a nut, dude. I fucking busted all the nuts, dude.
Real quick, Crazy Kyle says, did you know Fallon devolved his finger partially through a wedding ring accident?
I think he means
what
degloved.
Is that? Degloved. Ew! I know what degloving is, and it's my greatest fear after getting a wedding ring.
Yeah.
Every day I wait for the moment that my finger gets unsheathed.
But
what a terrible name that they picked, too.
Ugh, it's
like,
so visceral.
It's a great name because, yeah, it's visceral. So there aren't many medical terms that you hear them and you instantly know exactly what it means.
Yeah, normally they're just like, oh yeah, it's periodontitis or some shit like that, and you're like, sure. And also Kyle agrees about Colin. Yeah, Colin's a legend. I mean, Colin and Ryan are legends of Whose Lines Anyway in improv. I don't think they ever got enough credit like from just. I don't think Colin Mockery and like, you know, I think Whose Line was big for like a hot second in like the 90s. I feel like it was like this is so cool. But
I mean, they're still touring. They're still doing Whose Line tours.
Yeah, I mean, they still get to do the thing they like, and I mean, they probably have the sweetest gig in the world.
I'm sure it pays the bills. I mean, they honestly, like they've been doing these tours since.
But I always feel like people Like if you tell people like, oh, Colin Mockery, Ryan Stiles, like most people will be like, fucking who? And I feel like that's a bit of a shame. I mean,
also I think it's kind of like a joke. I was just watching The Office recently. It's one of the first or second episodes of the whole show, and Steve Martin's like basically, or not Steve Martin,
Carell?
but no, Steve Carell is like, he's basically like, it's like, yeah, he's like, I can deal with like unexpected situations pretty well. I'm good on my feet. I learned improv from some of the greats, Ryan Stiles, Colin Mockery. But like the joke is that like
they don't
like he could have named like these absolute legends of comedy, and he named like the people from Whose Lines Anyway. But they are great.
They're great. They're so funny.
They're great at what they do. It's just funny. It's like supposed to be like a joke because Michael's supposed to be like this, like just an idiot,
Yeah. Man, that first season of that show is so hard to watch sometimes.
I love it. I'm okay with cringe comedy,
Oh no, I don't mean it.
Michael has no redeemable qualities in the first season.
Yeah, he does. I just think the first season hasn't found its footing yet in the show, and it kind of comes off a little awkward unintentionally. Like there's a difference between like that intentional awkwardness and that unintentional, and it comes off.
They're like almost copying the British show.
They're
like
exactly
almost,
copying it.
Scene for scene in that first season.
Yeah. And then they ran out of the 6 episodes that the original show ran for, and they were just
like, dang, now we got to write hundreds of these things.
Shit, what do we do now?
Like, so hey, anybody weird on the show, you want to help write? They're
right.
all like, yes. I think Kyle's making fun of the way I said tour.
I was made fun of.
Did I say?
How do you say tour? Or how do you say that word? Tour? You say tour? Because
tour.
I also say tour. But I also...
What does he say? Tour?
Tour. I've heard some people say tour. Yeah. Like, I remember I was about to go on tour with a band, and sell t-shirts with them and stuff. And I was like, I can't wait to go on tour with you guys. And the one guy's like, tour? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, no, it's tour. It's tour. And I'm like, I think I like my way better.
I hate when people correct, like, the way to say something when it's just, like, where you're from. It's not like it's not like I'm saying like I'm going to the library. That's a different thing. I'm not saying you're correcting like just the way in different parts of the country people say a word,
Yeah, absolutely.
Shut up is what I'm trying to say. Shut up.
Like unless it's like unless you're like clearly mispronouncing, like if it's like that's just like a difference of pronunciation, like you just have a little bit of an extra flourish, like it's kind of like just an extra flourish on tour.
No, it's flourish.
No, it is flourish. I do say it that way, but like if you type out how do you say DATA, it's like some people will say
data or data.
Yeah, and it's just like that's neither of them are wrong. I don't think that people think one's
there can
wrong.
Be multiple pronunciations,
but there is like some situations where it's like, no, it's not called a cleaver, it's called a cleaver, and you just got to be like, okay, my bad.
Right? Yeah. There's wrong, and then there's just like, hey, depending on where you live, people are gonna say it different.
Yeah. A lot of like words nowadays, I think, are a lot more malleable. I mean, I think language is always, evolving and constantly changing, and now people say, based, and I explained the concept of like saying based and like giving somebody an L or a W today. And it was very interesting trying to.
You explain it to your dad?
Yeah.
After watching South Park?
Yeah, we watched South Park, and then I explained based to him. And then I explained why when somebody says common South Park L, what they're saying when they say that.
I feel like I don't need to go into coloring this whole Pizza Davidson thing over here. It's stupid. One of the dumbest things I've drawn on the show.
That's an interesting pizza. How's my Pizza Davidson?
Good. I think we're on a similar level here.
Yeah.
Hope you don't take that as an insult.
I think Pete Davidson knows who. I don't think he cares. He's like, I got Ariana Grande. He's fine.
No, I don't. I'm not worried about Pete Davidson.
Pete Davidson's gonna be so sad when he sees this episode.
Yeah, he's gonna leave the spotlight. Be like, oh god, I don't look like pizza.
That was a pretty good pizza. I would give that one a 6.5.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, it was very solid.
My pizza Davidson is better than your pizza Davidson.
Yeah, I mean yours is more aesthetically pleasing. Mine's kind of. Do you remember that sketch from All That on Nickelodeon called Pizza Face?
Mm-mm.
Or was it Big Ear Boy? I think it was Big Ear Boy and his friend was Pizza Face. But I mean,
somebody with acne and somebody with big ears.
Well, you'd think, but there was a guy with like abnormally large ears, and then the other guy had a literal pizza for a face. And this is essentially what I've drawn. I've essentially drawn like the pizza face from that sketch.
No, I don't. I watched a lot of it, so I have seen this thing, but I don't remember I don't remember that. Crazy Kyle, why don't you take a tour why don't you go take a tour to the dump where you belong? The dump.
The dump, dude.
Take a tour to the dump. Why don't you go? You go hang out at that's where you go.
Look at that! I'm so fancy. I signed my drawing.
I didn't sign mine because I don't want anyone to know that I made this.
I just don't get to use my signature enough.
I like your signature.
Thank you. I worked very hard on it.
Mine has been like a Crazy Kyle subbed 33 months. Holy
damn.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That's crazy. Says, do you make fun of all your subs? No, mostly just you. I think, right? Pretty true.
I mean, I feel like we
sometimes
make fun
we pick on other people.
I feel like we pick on I feel like we're mean. I think we're a mean show, Brandon. I think we're actually very mean.
Are we bullies?
And we might be bullies.
Oh, are we the baddies?
Oh yeah, right. It's a great meme. Have you seen Peep Show, the other show by Mitchell and Webb?
No, I think even on the show you've asked
I probably have.
before.
I probably.
And I have not yet. No, but I want.
It's I'm not gonna rehash that conversation. I'm sure I went into a big rant about it, but it's a show that was very hard for me to watch. And then once I realized, like, oh, I want bad things to happen to these characters. They're so awful. Then it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But until you kind of hit, like, there was an episode essentially where the guy's on jury duty and he's like trying to put a bomb in a mailbox so he can get off of jury duty, and the other guy catches him. He's like, "What are you doing?"
That straight up leads me to the question I was just about to ask you. Have you watched Jury Duty yet? The TV show that's new.
I saw the ad for that and I was like, this looks actually super intriguing, but I hate this conceptually and I don't want to.
Oh, really?
Pay into it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Just kind of. It feels weird to string somebody along for so long. Like, I don't know. When it comes to like prank shows or shows that are sort
one
of
of the few people that's excited to be on Jury Duty, so that's one thing. So
that is very
interesting
less mean about him. Yeah.
He was told like he's helping make this documentary about how jury duty is, and because he's never been on it, he was interested in being part of it.
Right.
So, and he's like, of everybody there, he's like,
he seems like a nice person,
chill, nice person.
Yeah.
I mean, I've only seen like the first 3 episodes, but he's very like, he's trying to like diffuse things between the characters that are like fake. And he's like, when anybody's like they set up all these things, conflict for the characters because it's like written show. And he's like constantly like, no, man, don't worry about it. You're fine. You're fine. And they're like actively like, these things are going that way. And he's trying to like keep everything chill and everyone getting along. And he's like, gets along with everybody just fine. And he's a good guy.
From the commercial I saw, it seemed like they picked a person I would root for,
Yeah, he seems like a nice enough guy. I don't know, at least from the first few episodes. But it's fun. I like it so far. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, I have no concrete like thought that I can word that I can put my thought into. But when I saw the commercial, I was like, wow, that's a very fascinating looking show, and like the trailer is very good. Like they really kind of give you a good idea of what the show kind of seems like it has in store for it. But something about it made me feel gross. I don't know.
I guess
conceptually.
So I can see that reality TV is kind of gross to begin with. So I think because it's reality TV, it feels that way, and then also that he doesn't know.
He doesn't know. He's kind of being strung along on this big prank, and like eventually they're gonna pull the curtain and be like, "Hey, the last 8 weeks of your life have been a complete facade." It's very Truman Show-esque. It feels like we're getting very close to Truman Show levels of like
some positives to it is he does know he's on a reality show. Like he's not doing. He knows he's being recorded.
He knows he's being recorded, which I think is a very fair thing. Like as long as he knows he's on a show or he's in a production.
When it's over, he's not going to be like, "Oh fuck, they got me doing all that stuff."
Yeah.
Like he knows this is going to be on TV.
Yeah, which is, I think, at least that is sort of bridging a gap.
So he's inviting some of this in, so it's a little less.
Yeah.
Like, yes, it's a trick, but I mean, honestly, I think all the stuff he's being like they're not putting him through like horrible stuff, but all the stuff he's experiencing, he's more like just like a party to it. He's the jury. He's always watching it play out, and he's just being like,
he's kind of in this show.
This is ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah, he's like, I mean, the jury is kind of the audience to the court, and then at the end they make a deliberation. But
yeah.
So at the end, it almost might be relieving to be like, oh, thank God that wasn't all real, because that shit was wacky.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. I'll let you know when I get to the end how I feel about it. We're gonna keep watching it, so I'll let you know.
Give us the update. This is a new segment. We're calling it.
It's funny. I was about to say, have you watched anything new, so that I could get to talking about jury duty, and then you said the exact words jury duty, and I was like, oh, okay, well there we go.
Perfect segue.
We're making our way.
I'm glad I could segue that for you. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it really, like when I saw the commercial, I was like, yeah, I would watch that. Maybe eventually I will watch it. I don't know. It just, yeah, I don't know. Something about it made me feel icky, and that's not like necessarily the show's fault. Sometimes you just,
I get what you're saying though. I can see how there'd be issues, but I don't know.
It didn't make me feel as icky as like Cops. Cops, watching Cops makes me feel so icky. But this show, I was like, I could, I'm not like offended that it exists. Like there are some shows where I'm just like this. I'm not like a person to censor art. I don't think this should exist.
I'm only a few episodes in, but I will say, like, the guy's demeanor, I'm pretty certain when he finds out, he's going to be very thoroughly entertained when he finds out. He's like,
that's cool.
He's pretty like easygoing. He's like here because he wants to be there.
Yeah.
He's having a good time. He's like entertained by what's going on. He's like often laughing at what's happening.
Yeah. It seems like, at least of all of the shows to do this sort of situation, it seems like the most good-natured approach from what I could tell.
One funny twist in the show is one of the people on jury duty is James Marsden, who's like the guy from like Sonic.
I saw
lead.
that too, and I was like,
and he plays himself, and he got stuck on jury duty, and he's just like there. He's like, because an actor can get called in for jury duty too.
Oh yeah,
and basically
the
first episode, like he sits next to him, and he's like, somebody comes up for a picture, and then he's another actor, but he's like, I knew I recognized you from somewhere. You were. He's like, yeah, and he's like, starts to smile. He's like, you were Cyclops in X-Men, and he's like, oh yeah. He's like, we don't really talk about that one as much. Like, have you seen Sonic? And the guy's like, no, but I heard it kind of sucked. And he's just like, it's like real mad, like like the guy comes back the next day, and he's like, I have to apologize to you. I went home last night and watched Sonic. That shit was fire. like the main guy, like
that's good shit. I mean,
it's just funny.
Yeah, it seems like, and I think actually having James Marsden there is actually a really smart move in making the show feel less icky, because he can be a parachute for the guy. Like if James Marsden starts doing some wacky shit, like if like the scenario starts to pop off in a way that might maybe seem a little over the line, like if they sort of take something too far, James Marsden can sort of act extra, and because he's like famous, I don't know, I feel like James Marsden his presence can be a parachute if something goes maybe a bit askew in the production.
I wonder how they vet him for this role.
Yeah,
maybe they like showed him his like the people that are going to be serving with him, because there's people that they're bringing in who most of the people I don't recognize from anything, but there's a few that I'm like, oh, she's been on Comedy Bang Bang a few times, or this one's popular on TikTok, or like, hey, that guy had a small role on like Parks and Rec, but it's like you'd think he would pick up on that, but maybe he doesn't. How do you vet to make sure that your guy is not going to recognize all these people?
Yeah, I mean, you probably shoot the first episode and then see how that goes. Best. Yeah. And then if like somebody notices them, you've only shot, the first, or maybe the first scenario of the first episode. There was this
I just watched too much shit, I guess, but I recognize people.
Yeah, we're a bit more plugged in.
We went to Comedy Bang Bang Live, and the one girl he had with, forgive me for not knowing her name offhand, that seems rude, but the one of the women that were like on the show when we saw him live in Michigan, she was just on the show. She's popular on like TikTok too. I see her a lot.
Okay.
On there.
What does she do? Or
let me see if she's been on the radio show. I don't know.
I just saw an Instagram post from Comedy Bang Bang where they're like, live LA show or something like that. Yeah, I'm not mad about the jury duty. I just, something about like just the concept of putting somebody in like this extended lie, just kind of, I'm not a fan of that as a premise, but it looks, I mean, if they're making it like fun and like the guy's having a good time and he's not, like if they're not putting him through fucking torture or like psychological duress, I have a much easier time with it. And the commercials did make it seem like it's a very lighthearted, like the trailer I saw didn't make me feel gross aside from that just premise. You know what I mean? Like everything that I saw in it didn't like make, like nothing I saw made me feel more gross or like fed into that feeling. So that's good.
Yeah.
Did you find out that person's name?
Her name is Lisa Gilroy.
I feel like I've heard that name before, but I couldn't.
Yeah, you'd probably. She's been a number of characters on Comedy Bang Bang, and
okay.
I don't know. She did stuff. She's popular on TikTok, but yeah, I don't know.
But cool, good for her.
Yeah, the show's funny. I like it so far.
Cool.
I'll keep you posted on what I think of it.
Yeah, let me know. I've seen. Here's the thing. I can't even like diss that show because I did watch something that was way more ethically dodgy if it wasn't fake. I don't know if it was fake or not. It seemed they played it off like it was. No, it was this thing called The Push, and it was on Netflix. Came out, I want to say 2018, something like that. But it's like this British guy, and he's a very interesting like magician, comedian. Then oftentimes like his one like he's, I don't know how to describe his stuff, but he does like mind games on people, and like it looks pretty fake a lot of times because I'm just like, there's no way he like made a person. There's no way he predicted the exact words the audience.
That's the weird thing about magicians on like Netflix now. I'm just like, okay, but like you can just fake it. Yeah, like why is this exciting for me to watch? Like I don't know that there's no rules saying that you have to tell the truth.
Yeah. So this push thing, like, and it goes through the whole process of like, it starts off with like he convinces somebody to steal somebody else's baby. By just like taking, he's like, he has like somebody on the phone and he's like, hi, it's me from it's British, so he's like, it's me from the MIB or something like that. There's a woman next, and she's an actress, and like there's not a real baby in the carriage. He's like, woman next to you, that is a kidnap. She's not that baby's mom. She's stolen that baby. You're our only chance to like have this done very surreptitiously. When she gets up to go pay her bill, I need you to walk out of the cafe with that carriage or whatever. And he does, and he looks very freaked out. And then like the guy's outside going like, hey, how's it going, mate? It's me, I'm a magician. Isn't it crazy I can do that? I made you steal a baby. And so
that's not what a magician is, bro.
Yeah. And so the Push show is like the next like the full thing, but like they show them vetting this guy, and then what they do is they have like this big warehouse that's been turned into a quote unquote like art gallery / auction place, and this guy is being put through this whole scenario with like these 200 actors, and it could all be fake for all I fucking know. And essentially what's going to happen is the guy is going to be like taken on this tour. He's going to be met with a very wealthy old businessman. They go into a back room right before the businessman is supposed to do a presentation. The businessman dies of a heart attack. And then they force the guy into a whole bunch of scenarios to make him have to like hide the fact that this man's been dead for like an hour, quote unquote dead. So they have him like do the auction as the guy, like take a persona and like do the auction in front of like people and like auction shit, even though he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. But everyone's an actor, so like, you know, it's just this guy sweating. And then like at one point they like try and convince him to kick the body. Like they're like, we gotta get this. Oh, God. It's like they do a lot of fucked up shit. Like they like try and convince him to kick the body. They try and do this, that, the other, and then it all culminates. Like they're trying to get him to like physically fuck with the body in several situations because they're really trying to like make him like they're like, it's like this, the guy says it's psychological. If we can get you to kick the body, we can get you to the final step where we get you to kill a man. And that's the whole point, is eventually it all culminates in the old guy who supposedly died is alive, sitting on the edge of the roof, knows everything that's gone on, and like there's these business partners that he's sort of like met along the way who have goaded him through this whole scenario, who are like, if you push him off, we're clean, we're good, no one can trace it. And so like, you know, it's like, can we convince this guy to push this old man off this building where he's on a harness and there's like a trampoline.
Yeah, that's pretty gross.
It's pretty fucked up. And then like it ends with the guy does not kick the body and he doesn't push the guy off the building, and then like they're like, wow, okay, you're a good guy. And then they show like, they're like, but here's the thing, this isn't like, it's a whole hour like in like the last 3 minutes, like, but here's the thing, this is not the only guy we put through this scenario. And then they show like clips of 4 other people like kicking the body, pushing the guy off the roof, like doing all this crazy shit to the guy. And it's just like, is this fake? But also this is really a fucked up, if it's not fake, this is a fucked up thing to do to a guy.
Unrealistic scenario and then treat them like they're willing to murder.
Yeah. So it's like
the whole "What Would You Do" show that we've bitched about before.
Oh my god, I hate that show.
Like these aren't real scenarios. Don't get mad at people. Shut up. Don't.
Yeah.
And also, like, what are you supposed to? I don't know. Dumb.
Yeah,
dumb.
It's dumb. What is going on with this? Whoa.
If anything, they're smart for not reacting on your dumb TV show.
Yeah, exactly. Interesting. I have like this visual glitch on my window. I can see on the OBS it's showing up just fine, but like for me this line is like invisible in this weird square.
Oh yeah, I have that sometimes. There's similar thing.
Yeah. So as we watched, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say we watched that, and then we watched another movie that guy made where he tried to convince a guy to like take a bullet for a dude. Like immediately afterwards, we watched the next thing, which was the exact same premise but different. Yeah, yeah. But like the whole time, I was just like, this is probably fake.
Have you watched The Rehearsal yet?
Yeah. Oh yeah, all the way through.
How'd you feel about that?
Oh man, I thought it was brilliant.
Okay, I didn't know if you like felt gross about that at all, or any Nathan Fielder stuff, because he's very much like
yeah,
almost the closest thing to that jury duty thing I can find is like, because he's making comedy reality with the other people are like kind of, they're not realizing they're along for this.
Yeah, that they're being
like, they may know they're being on a show, but they don't realize they're on this like goofy ass.
Yeah, they're still being lied to, and I do feel some type of way about that as well. I did feel that way
everything
about
Nathan Fielder makes, but it makes me feel weird.
But the thing is, I feel like what I liked about The Rehearsal was I feel like The Rehearsal was in a large part about coming to terms with that, and like him sort of taking ownership of the fact that maybe this isn't good, maybe I shouldn't do it how I'm doing. And I really, that's why I thought The Rehearsal was so good, is it like, especially that last episode, the way it's done is so good in my opinion.
Like,
and then
talk about feeling icky though, the kid,
oh, that poor kid,
like loves him.
Yeah.
But I mean, but it's so good. You're right. It's amazing.
So
and also like, yeah, it's about him more than the other people. The other people are there to help drive it in the direction it goes, but it's a show about Nathan Fielder more than the people. people he's taking along for the ride.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the one reason that I feel less icky. But then like apparently they're making a season 2, and like what do you? I feel like it works as a like how do you season 2?
It should be like a standalone like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, but I'm willing to trust that it might be.
I mean, he made the first season and it was brilliant. So I can only assume that he has a direction that he's going in with it. So
and he seems to be like a little bit more like he sees further than the rest of us when it comes to like a creative standpoint. Like he thinks he's playing 4D chess over there. He thinks in ways that the average person probably wouldn't creatively, or like comedy writing. He's kind of thinking about like steps ahead, which is always.
That is very accurate. He is like that one episode where he convinces the barista to like move and shit. Just gets that like everything starts like every episode of that show like turns into like this weird, like multi-layered. Like he always pushes it in that show. Like he's like, "Well, I managed to get this guy to dig up this treasure. Maybe I can get him to wipe this old guy's ass." And then. Which is great because he's anti-Semitic, so he makes the anti-Semite wipe the old guy's ass. It's great.
It's funny how he's always kind of been this way. It's just he's getting more popular. There's this old clip that I really love of like apparently he had some like show on like I don't know what you call like a smaller level of cable, but like in Canada he had some small show on some Canadian channel or something, but it's not something that you'd see in other countries. I don't know what you call that show. If it's straight up cable, it's available everywhere, right? Like I don't know.
I think so. I mean,
maybe
I think
it's like a local network or something like that.
I think it's regional. Yeah.
Regardless, that's not the important part. He has like a show on this channel, and he does like interviews and stuff. Like, and he messes with people like he always has and always will. But there's this episode where he has the network host on, and sure, maybe a lot of it is just like scripted or like it's a goof, but like basically like the host is like, yeah we love what you do here, and he's like, he's like what do you love, and you could almost see like the evil in his eyes when he realizes like what road he's going to take it. Like it's like an organic conversation, so I don't think he was planning on going there, but then he gets to the point where the guy's like, oh, just like everything you do here, really love it, and he's like, what's your favorite episode? And the guy's just like getting like squirming in his seat, and it gets to the point where he's just like, don't do this to me, don't do this to me. And it's his like boss that could like.
That's so funny.
Like, name one episode that you like. And he's just like got this smirk on his face as the boss is like getting like annoyed.
That's great.
It's pretty good.
I don't watch your shit. I'm too busy making money.
Funny stuff.
That is very funny stuff. He's a brilliant guy.
Getting more popular. Yeah. Have you watched anything else lately? Anything new?
I mean, I've been rewatching that 70s show with the parents, and like we're at the seasons where they got rid of Eric and Kelso now.
Are you guys gonna watch that 90s show once you finish?
Oh God, I don't think so.
It looks so bad.
It looks real bad. Kyle, I think, watched it.
He would.
He would, yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I was interested in maybe watching an episode just to see how cringy it was. Like, I don't know what I'd watch first, that 90s show or Velma.
Oh, boy. Neither? Is that an option?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I've chosen
in
the long run.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's the option I've chosen. And I will stick with it.
But yeah, it didn't look great. I read some article, and I'm sure it was like one of those fluff articles that you write just to like get clicks. It was like when I was writing for Game Rant. But it was just like, it was saying like moderately positive things about that 90s show. Like, it seems like it's a nice show to continue things, and people are enjoying the apparently all the cast is back in it or some shit like that. I don't know.
Not all the cast.
Yeah.
Hyde is probably not there.
No. Oh, yeah. No, definitely not. Although, didn't he just get off or something? Or I feel like there was an update on him.
I think he's not arrested or something, but
he's no longer arrested.
Still. Probably don't want to associate him.
No, probably not.
Crazy Cal says, we watched the first 2 episodes of 90s show and it was just all, hey, remember these people? But the actual writing is trash. Yeah, that's kind of what I expected.
Yeah, that's what I saw coming. There's a lot of member berries type TV shows and movies, and I'm annoyed.
I mean, right now, actively, I think there's I think it's still going, Girl Meets World, and there's How I Met Your Father.
Yeah.
That's going. So these are all just
how do you feel about that dramatic
member berry shows?
How do you feel about that dramatic Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, like the drama?
I haven't watched it, but it seems to me, whenever I see this kind of like thing that's like latching onto a popular title, I'm just like, just make a new thing. Like, you could make a new show. It feels weird. It feels, I don't know.
It feels very strange.
Maybe it's great, but it's just like, why does this exist? I don't know.
I will say, if I had to like give any, like, you had gun to my head, I had to give respect to a show, I would give it to the Fresh Prince show, because at least they're doing something dramatically different. Like, they're turning
the production looks good. It looks like they're actually taking it serious. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there was this funny sketch.
Made a scary Archie show, and people like that.
Yeah, I heard that show is fucking bananas.
Yeah, I think it's like basically
like a soap opera.
What's the David Lynch show?
Oh, Twin Peaks.
It's like Twin Peaks if it was made for like preteens.
I've heard that comparison.
That's
and
what
it seems
it
apt.
is.
Yeah.
I've seen a few episodes, and that's what it is.
Is it fun?
No, I don't recommend it.
All right. Because I mean, if it's crazy enough, like, it might be fun. But you know, if it's,
I just wanted to see Jughead like want to eat like hamburgers, but he's all like this evil. He's like this, not evil, but he's like this brooding like.
Oh, that's like
doesn't want to eat hamburgers at all.
Jughead was aloof. That was Jughead's fucking charm.
It's either Zach or Cody. I don't know which, but he's Jughead.
Oh, he really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Huh. One of those twins.
But yeah, I mean, the Fresh Prince at least is doing something different. Saturday Night Live had a great sketch with I forget his name, but he was on that Keenan show, but he was really great in the sketch. But it was like a dramatic take on Family Matters, where like Urkel's mom is abusive, and that's why he's always over at the other family's house. And there's this like they have some great. It's a great.
That's how they would actually do it, though, if they did it.
And there's like at one point where it's like, go to your fucking family that matters. You're like, this family ain't no family or some shit like that. It's very funny. It's a very for a 3-minute sketch.
Did I do that?
He does. I think he does that when he like shoots somebody. Or he's like, did I do that? Pew, 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 or some shit. It's great. It's great. It's a very funny sketch.
I like that concept.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's if you're gonna do like parody because they're parodying the Fresh Prince dramatic reboot, obviously, but if you're gonna do that parody, I think Family Matters was the perfect choice of show to like do the parody of. I think
showing off the rails throughout the years.
Yeah. Oh my god, I'll never forget that puppet episode.
How many times can you jump a shark? The shark jumped them at some point.
Seriously, that man, that show really like. I feel like the downside was when he made the machine and turned into Antoine. I feel like that's when we started to really lose track.
There was also an Urkel bot, and there was like all sorts of weird science, sci-fi rigmarole going on.
Antoine was really weird because it felt like Urkel was like, okay, like I am a real person underneath this cartoon you've made. Can I be sexy on the show? And so they're like, fine, you're fucking. You have a twin named Antoine. We're gonna nutty professor you.
Jaleel White wanted his just desserts.
That's right.
Ian, do you have anything to plug?
I just want to plug Jaleel White as Sonic the Hedgehog. I think we should bring him back in the movies. I think Ben Schwartz did a fine job, but I just don't hear any voice other than Jaleel
Sonic?
White. Yeah, in the cartoons in the 90s. And
That's
for like
funny.
the games for a very long time, I want to say. Yeah. He is actually like the most. It's like how people associate Mark Hamill with the Joker. People associate Sonic with Jaleel White.
Got any chili cheese dogs?
Did I do that?
That's Jaleel White. And you know what else is
I
Drew
remember when
White?
Sonic said that.
I'm waiting.
Which he says on the terrible 90s Sonic show so many times. It's like his catchphrase, and it's the most annoying. He goes,
What a terrible catchphrase.
waiting, and he says it like that. It's
Your
awful.
catchphrase shouldn't be "I'm impatient." Well, I guess he's got to go fast.
He's
so
fast.
That's why he's impatient.
Your
You don't have time.
catchphrase shouldn't be like nails on a chalkboard. Like it
When
shouldn't be the
you're
most
speaking
annoying
to
sound.
Sonic, he hears,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Okay, let's go. I gotta go fast. You're not going fast.
You know, I feel that way.
We
a
gotta
lot.
go fast, not just me. You know,
Sometimes-
like I can't be the only one who has to go fast. Sometimes we all have to go fast, guys.
Sometimes we gotta all put in the work.
So he's waiting.
I do feel that way sometimes, like conversing, and I've read that might be a symptom of ADHD, which again I've never gotten
I
tested
feel that
for.
too.
But like people are talking, and I'm just like, I know what you're gonna say. Just finish the fucking sentence. Yes.
Yeah,
No.
as I've gotten older, I've become more self-aware of that, and I'm like actively trying to like silence
Same.
myself from finishing sentences, because I used to do that a lot, to just like try to get to the point. Like, I know what you're. Yes, can I help you get there?
Yeah.
But that's not a cool thing to do. So
No, it's very rude.
Tried to stop myself, and I pretty much don't do it anymore. But I used to do it a lot.
I probably fall prey to that very often still, but I try and be better about it. But also people, I'm included in this, but we gotta start being brief. Brevity is wit. Let's start figuring out less words to say shit.
Right.
Everybody, let's hop on board this train.
Let's all be like Sonic, and let's go fast.
That's right. We gotta go fast. Less words.
Climb up on the train, or ride. Look, come on, ride the train.
Let's ride it.
Come on, ride the train. Ride the choo-choo train.
Chugga 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 choo choo. That song's kind of a bob. I think we should bring that song back.
Man, Jock Jams, that was a quality album.
Yeah, Jock Jams was a healthy mix of 50% bangers and then 50% the most annoying song you've ever heard in your life.
Yeah. Yeah. But they're great for playing at high school or at middle school basketball games.
Yes, absolutely. You can just put it on, they'll do like.
All the white people put on Jock Jams and shoot hoops, or try to.
Yeah. Jock
That's what we
Jams
do
is
as
what
kids.
white people put on to work out and like do basketball and other things.
It's true.
A bunch of like they put on like that song that and then it's just like a bunch of like white dudes like with basketballs going, okay, here I go with a hoop.
There's multiple times that in my childhood of being in a gymnasium with that song playing, with like a basket of just basketballs, just shooting them and missing like 80% of the shots. Like that was, you can visualize it. I can too, because I was there.
That's funny as hell.
It's the real thing.
Oh shit. Okay, Brandon.
Yes,
I
Ian?
don't have any. The DrawBomb channel on YouTube. It got 500 views. If you're not subscribed, go do that. If you don't, hit thumbs up.
Why aren't you guys one of those 500? What's wrong with you?
If you don't thumbs up every one of those shorts that I post at 11 in the morning and then 5 in the afternoon, like, are you even our friend? Come on, man.
Must not be.
I guess not. So do that, and then Patreon. I don't know if you want to give us more money. Patreon. This isn't for you guys. Patreon's for all the people who don't know us, like on a friendship level.
That kind of brings me to my thing. I think I'm gonna stream some drawing tomorrow. Maybe.
Do it. Hell yeah.
If I do, that'll be around 11 or noon or 1, somewhere in that ballpark. If I'm able to. We've been, busy, but I'm gonna try. So maybe check in on the channel for that. You'll get a notification if you have that bell. But the reason that draws me to that is because I was thinking maybe I could use the Patreon. That would be one thing that like people might actually be interested in, is if I ship out these little drawings to people, like if they're subscribed. Because I'm gonna have a big stack of them and I can give them away. I do about like one in like a half hour or an hour, so it wouldn't be too bad. And that might actually be an incentive.
I mean, if we get enough people where like we would have to put out a decent number. I mean.
Well, I'm not saying everybody gets one, but maybe I don't know. I don't know
at
how
a tier,
like
a certain tier, maybe.
Certain
like
tier, yeah, you get one.
Maybe.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just
maybe
an idea.
like
Just an idea.
No, I think it's very cool. I mean, we got to figure out what the fuck perks to give people. So.
Yeah, it can't just all be goodwill. We have to give people something for their donations, I think.
But we just like that's like the weird cyclical nature of it. Is it like, well, we don't really have the production value to give people extra stuff, so we need the people. But this isn't for people.
We're working out the details.
The point is, we're not begging you guys to sign up for our Patreon. We're gonna try and get the unsuspecting other rubes to sign up to our Patreon.
Maybe a high enough tier, we make a stream puppet for you. Not that you get to be on the show, but you can have the resources.
Or like you have a stream puppet based on your character that can be in the show, at least, you know what I mean? Like somebody's like, oh, I want my clown with big titties to be on your show. We'll be like, fuck, man, he did give us $200.
Oh, I wasn't even necessarily saying be on the show, but like, hey,
no,
clown
the
is on the show.
Use it
for whatever you want.
They're not on the show. The clown is with the big titties, though.
Gotcha. Yeah, maybe.
They get to like say a character they would like to see on the show. And they wanted a clown, and then they gave us $200, so we're obliged.
Yeah, I'm willing to sell out. I'm happy to sell out.
Yeah, I don't have a job, and I haven't had a job for a very long time, and that check was not real. So the whole job I thought I might have last week was a big ol' scam. So I gotta fucking figure something out. Y'all might see me hawking Call of Dragons this week on Twitch or some shit like that.
Everybody play Raid Shadow Legends.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of HelloFresh? Are you one of the people who hasn't had HelloFresh like my parents know what HelloFresh is now because those shits fucking show up on TV now.
Yep. It's popular. I mean, it's popular. I've used HelloFresh.
It looks nice. I mean, I think it seems like
it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
We like it. We stopped because it was a little pricey.
Yeah.
I would say generally yes, but only if you have a little extra.
You need to have that extra
money to sprinkle. It's not too overpriced, but it is like if we're trying to save money, we're like, let's cancel that for now.
Yeah, it's slightly bougier, but it does seem like it's not like you're paying for takeout and you're like basically doubling your price. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's good. The food's good, so at least I think so. So I don't know. Well, we're advertising them. Stop it. It sucks.
Yeah, fuck.
No, I'm saying like I'm like, and the food's good and the price is pretty good. It's like, shut up.
We also just told them why you unsubscribed. So.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, but I think that's it. So tune in tomorrow if I do it. I'm planning on doing it. So yeah, we'll just say that. Alrighty. I think the only reason I'm like wavering is because last week I went to do it and I was having technical difficulties, so I didn't do it. But
gotcha. Yeah, streaming's always a fickle.
But I did it on I think Saturday to make up for it. So that was
nice.
Fun.
I did see that, and I've enjoyed those streams. I do try and pop in and support, obviously, whenever people I see.
You pop in and you're like, keep going. Getting subs.
Hey.
I'm like, yes, sir.
Where we get those patrons from, me?
I do think since we're going off, we should host over to Matty F, our good friend who's streaming right now, because we love him. We love that guy.
Life is Strange. Some real heavy shit going on in his game.
It's a great channel. You should definitely subscribe if you haven't already.
We love Matt. We actually have content planned with Matt. We do. I mean, we talked about it already, but we're gonna get that.
We have multiple things that we want to do with him.
Yeah, that's right. But I'm very excited about the wrestling league. That's what I was gonna do. I was gonna draw some of the wrestlers that I made from the game. But,
love to do that next week, or
save it for the.
If you ever want to do a traditional stream with me, you can work on some stuff too. Well,
I wouldn't be opposed.
But traditional stuff's expensive.
I got like a fucking pile back there of shit.
You can use crayons. It doesn't matter. It's fun.
Oh yeah, I got colored pencils. I think I got shitty colored.
The hard part is having a setup. I use my phone for like one camera. And it's on this shitty like wobbly arm. My setup needs to improve, but right now this is working for me.
This ring light, along with destroying the back wall here, did come with like a phone holder prop. I don't know if I don't know where it is, but I think this might be it right here that I'm looking at. I don't know, but I don't know. We'll see. I have a webcam.
Yeah.
I can just hook a webcam up to some shit.
Figure it out. There are apps on like a phone that you can just turn it into a camera. Too.
That's true.
That's what I use
for streaming and stuff.
Anyways, on that note, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks Crazy Kyle, Bella Rocket, Shiny Doggy, Z-Newts.
Does it look like my hand is made of rubber? Is it like wobbling back and forth?
You got a rubber hand though.
Whoa.
Tune in tomorrow. I'll be streaming at 11 or noon ish. Yeah, and now we're gonna go over to Maddie F. Because gosh, love that guy.
Yeah, this is.
Oh, you're doing it. Okay, I was just about to do it. Okay.
Oh, sorry. This channel is intended for mature audiences, you guys. Life is strange. Some heavy shit they were talking about. I'm not lying.
Oh my god.
And we've rated, and I'm going to stop streaming now. Oh wait, I need to hit the.
Cool.
I need to hit the outro button. I forgot to hit the. Where is it at? Is it at?
I think we're still on.
We are still on. I forgot to do the fade out. I need to actually change what the one button looks like because it